It's moved from a side risk to a real risk. It's actually kind of starting to affect the sentiment of the market. It's at a time when the global PMIs are slowing down. They're still positive, but they're slowing down. It's affecting the sentiment, moving from a cyclical to a more defensive side of it. Some companies around the world which are directly affected by the tariffs have had some profit warnings, like Daimler in Germany. So it's starting to have an impact. I think that the first tranche of the 34 billion is priced in. Difficult to say how much of the next tranche of the 200 billion is priced in. I think only very little of it, because I think the market didn't think that these trade tensions would escalate to the level that they are escalating for the moment. Economists are kind of expecting that every $100 billion of tariffs are around having an impact of around 0.1% of GDP to the global growth. Mainly the cyclicals, and of course the companies which are directly affected by the tariffs will be kind of hurt the most. If you look at Australia and you look at kind of the mining sector, it could actually have a silver lining with China actually responding to these tariffs by stimulating its domestic economy and actually stimulating the infrastructure side as well as the real estate side. So potentially a company like BHP, Rio and FMG will actually benefit from this through higher activity. You have the two sides of it. I mean, you have of course the ones which are negatively affected, which would be the cyclical companies, and that could be kind of on the base metals, kind of any copper company or base metal companies, but also Qantas would be affected negatively over time if trade has an impact on business and flying activity. In terms of the positive side, it's difficult to have a real positive. It's going to be a relative positive, but the defensives should relatively do better. That's going to be the yield-sensitive names as well as the staples. The banks, unfortunately, with all the issues that they have, might be put on the side for the moment. You have some companies which are going to be also benefiting directly from the sanctions, like BlueScope is having operations in the US, which thanks to higher steel prices gives them a higher spread. And of course, last point in terms of the ones which are going to be the relative winners of it, the $8 will weaken, and so anybody who has strong US dollar revenues which are exposed to stable activities will benefit from the translation. That's going to be a ResMed, a CSL, an Aristocrat.